Hello everyone, Adolfo here, also known as Corinto. I'm the lead game developer from the game Kalyska. I'm from Brazil, and today I'm here to talk about some exciting things that are coming to the project. For those that are not familiar with the game, Kalyska is an RPG with erotic elements where you play as Kalyska, Kalystein. She's the first vampire of her world, and she used to have this legion of the Children of the Night that she would control and boss around and have all these temples scattered around Earth, and eventually she lost everything. And she wakes up thousands of years later in a world that doesn't even remember her name, and she wants to both find out why and what happened, and also establish herself in this new place, I'd say, because everything is so different that she doesn't recognize anything at all. Something we are working on is the prologue, and this will be a very exciting thing because we're going to show Kalyska at the height of her power and also establish a few nice mechanics for you to try out and also to test a little bit more than the dungeon crawler we had before. But I will come back to talk about that. First, let me leave you with a clip of what Kiana talked about the prologue so you can better understand where we are standing.
So what is the prologue about? Well, it takes place 10,000 years before the bulk of the game. It is Kalyska's domain on her islands prior to the Great Fall, which is a cataclysmic event. You can figure out more about that in the game. But there will be several different locations that you could explore, like Kalyska's Temple, the County of Lanigan, etc. There's going to be pirates. I'm excited for it. Now, why is the prologue important? Well, it introduces key characters for one. You've got Kalyska, of course. And then you've also got her right-hand man, Lever, as well as her oldest friend, arguably best friend, Amara. It also establishes Kalyska as a character, not just as, not just as a stand-in for the player. We understand what her beliefs are, her philosophies, how she sees herself compared to humans, how she sees herself compared to other vampires, and we get a glimpse of Kalyska's life before the main storyline. Was she a dictator? Was she worshipped as a god? Was she good to her people? Was she not? We will see. Plus, we get to experience that betrayal. If you've played the game, you might have heard about it, that forced Kalyska into her deep slumber.
So, to improve on that idea, what we're going to have now is, imagine an omelette. We're going to have an open world with choices that you can make, places that you can visit, NPCs that you can have dialogue with, and of course, some romantic encounters. And then we're gonna narrow it to the destroyed temple, which is from where the game currently starts at, and then go back to another open world experience. So now the whole gameplay will be more balanced to what you will see at the beginning is more similar to what you can expect of the rest of the game, which is a problem that currently we have, that many people start the game, they play the dungeon, which is something that if you haven't played before, you can take up to 40 minutes, and then they don't really understand what the game is about. Sometimes they close the game and they say, okay, I don't get it. They say it's an RPG, but it's actually a dungeon crawler. What is this about? So now we want to give them this feeling from the start. Another thing is, since we are having an open world, we can also experiment a few of the mechanics that you're going to find out later on in the game. Kalyska, at the beginning, she will start with all of her powers, but not exactly all of them. Because we don't want to go on a place that the player have everything the game has to offer, they lose everything and now they're on endless grinds to get it back. No. Kalyska will be established as someone that doesn't really know how to fight with a sword very well. And something that she will be learning during that prologue and also during the rest of the game will be different sword fighting techniques or spear fighting techniques or other weapons that we're going to add to the game. Also, magic, for reasons that the player will learn in the future, was never being stronger than it is, let's say, on the present that Kalyska wakes up on. So when she wakes up on a changed world, yes, she will be missing a lot of her powers, but there is also a lot more that you're going to be able to discover as the game progresses. Another thing that is very important for us to establish is consistency in how the game runs as well. Because let's face it, right now the optimizations of the open world are not very great. Many players will be able to play the dungeon normally, but then when they reach the open world, the game might crash, it might present some issues like different colors appearing on the screen, and GPU and CPU going to, I don't know, 100% of usage and everything like that comes with that. So Enrique is the new programmer, and he is working a lot on that regard to improve not just our optimizations, but also the way we manage NPCs, the way we manage saving and loading the game, and also creating some tools that the level designer can use to speed up his process, and also other tools that other developers of the game can use to create different looking NPCs. Lastly, something else we want to improve is the quality of cutscenes and animation we can achieve. And to talk a bit on that side, Guprit, our animator, are gonna show some of the issues we are facing on the rig.
One of the problem was like if you move the foot or if you move the foot or if you try to rotate it, then the foot slides. This should not happen, and there is no like no ankle heel rotation. So the heel will go inside the surface. So you can see how the upper leg and the lower leg, they are kind of intersecting each other. But what we are trying to do now is, let's say if I move this up, so the lower leg is trying to push the upper leg, the flesh of the upper leg or the muscles of the upper leg a bit up so that they can fit in together in this space.
After the new rig is done, Guprit will help me with animations inside Unreal Engine. He has experience with animation series, and I believe that once he joins forces with me, we can achieve way much greater things when it comes to both the story and also the new romantic animations we are bringing in. Now, when can you expect the Prologue to be done, and when can you expect it to be released? Those are different questions because we are planning to do it in smaller parts. So our patrons and subscribers will have access to test versions as we work on it, but we plan to have at least the main storyline done until September. So we want to release it to the public when the whole storyline is done, at least for the prologue. And this might change depending on the time it takes, but our main idea here is because we don't want the big public to feel like they are rolling back in terms of content that they can experience with the game. So, for example, we don't really want to release the prologue before they can go back to the world they already know and meet Farah and Henryson and do the whole City of Thieves quest line and so on. But we might need to change our mind depending on the time it takes, because if the prologue starts taking too long, we are putting this roof of 2 months, and we release a public demo no matter what's going on, because I believe optimization and allowing players to experience the game in a way that feels and runs better is more important than having, a lot of content that only few people can actually access. So yeah, the plan is we're putting this deadline like September to finish at least the main part of the prologue. Then we might bounce, back and forward, adding content to the present, adding content to the past, and then the players would be able to access both once the final thing is released. Something else that is important to keep in mind is that we don't want to punish exploration in the prologue. Because some people might be wondering, oh no, but I will play the prologue and I will have all these nice things and then I will lose everything. No. Kaliska's bludgeon is her supernatural abilities, not her knowledge. So fighting skills that you learn during the prologue, those will stay with her. Also, the way we want to make the loot at the new dungeon is that you will be able to find some of the weapons and armors and other things that you will be able to gather at the prologue. So you don't feel like you are dedicating all this time playing something, then you lose everything, just like Kaliska is doing, and then you will have to start the game from scratch. So don't worry about that, and I hope you like the prologue. Now, if you've been with us so far, as a player, as a subscriber, as a patron, thank you all. We wouldn't be able to make this game without you. And I know there is a lot more to come and a lot more to review once we have this chapter done. And, well, I open a new playlist on our YouTube, which is called Development Vlog. And we are going to be uploading videos there from every now and then. And the uncut versions of the video we've seen of Kiana and Henry and also Gurprit, you can check there already. And thank you very much again, really from our hearts, and I hope I see you again another time. Bye bye, or ciao ciao, like we say here in Brazil.